What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. Guys, despite her efforts to lay low, we're now seeing that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's legal troubles coming back to light after new evidence has just been revealed of her collusion with the Biden White House to come after President Donald Trump, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, stop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Give you another reason to support Judicial Watch. It's our remarkable and successful effort to expose the full truth about what Fani Willis was up to in her illicit, in my view, targeting of Trump and abusive targeting of Trump and unethical targeting and handling of the Trump cases. Just remarkable success as a result of one FOIA lawsuit, one open records lawsuit under the Open Records Act of Georgia. Now, we knew or suspected that Fani Willis was coordinating with the Biden operation, Jack Smith, and the Pelosi January 6th operation. We asked for records, and she denied she had records, didn't even show up once we sued for the records in court. She was found in default, which means you didn't answer the darn lawsuit, which is just incredibly, let's put it this way. Judicial Watch has been doing this work for 31 years, hundreds of FOIA lawsuits, and we pretty darn well know about other FOIA lawsuits out there. The idea that a government agency of any type would just not show up and answer a FOIA lawsuit and be found in default is historic in a bad way. But that's what Fani Willis did in her office, and she was found in default and ordered to pay us $22,000 as a result. But it didn't stop there. As I was talking about last week, there was a hearing, and because we wanted a special master to oversee the records of the case, because she said initially, I don't have records. And then she said, oh, we do have records, but you can't have them.
And now we have Judicial Watch coming out saying that the court is now raising new questions about Fani Willis's Trump anti-collusion record scandal. And let's jump off into the good stuff, guys. We got Judicial Watch announcing earlier today that a Georgia state court ordered Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis to provide new information and potentially conduct a new search for Trump-related records because of her recent affidavit to the court that made no reference to whether any searches of the devices of former Fulton County Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, also known as her lover boy or boyfriend, or those of Chief Investigator Michael L. Hill, who was also involved in gathering evidence and coordinating investigative efforts and likely met with the January 6th committee. It says the court order was issued in Judicial Watch, a lawsuit filed after Willis falsely denied having any records responsive to Judicial Watch's earlier Georgia Open Records Act request for communication with Special Counsel Jack Smith's office and the January 6th committee. March 7, 2025, court order directed Willis to turn over 212 pages of records and provide an affidavit detailing how the records were found and the reason for withholding them from the public. The records were belatedly found in response to Judicial Watch's request and lawsuit.
So there were like half-baked searches. They didn't know where they were looking. They didn't look completely. It was a complete disaster. They didn't show up, and then they're playing games and being dishonest with Judicial Watch, in my view, the court. So that's why we wanted a special master, someone to oversee the search. So the court had the hearing, as we talked about, and he orally ordered them to turn over the new records that they found, 212 pages of records. But then he issued a written order that not only, kind of verified his oral order, but slammed Fani Willis's misconduct in this case.
In a February 28th hearing, Willis's lawyers admitted to finding records after what was believed to be a fifth search of her office. The court then awarded Judicial Watch $21,578 in attorney's fees and cost. So basically what this all means, we're going to sum this up. It means Fani Willis did not do her job in turning over these records. I mean, what else are we to believe? But there was some sort of foul play at hand here with Fani Willis. Judicial Watch is basically saying we're entitled to these records, through the Open Act or Open Records Request Act. And we're seeing that Fani Willis is just blatantly saying no, not even appearing in court. This thing is seriously getting bad, especially when you see that Judicial Watch is not going to stop until they get these records. They're just trying to see, examine the records to see if there was any sort of collusion with the Biden Justice Department, the Jack Smith or the J6 committee. But Fani Willis is just refusing to comply. And now we're going to hop over into what Judicial Watch had to say in response to this. And also I have firsthand court footage from this case with Fani Willis. I want to play that on the back end, guys. So we're not straight off into what Judicial Watch had to say on this first.
Well, Fani Willis just confessed to having records of her communications with the January 6th Pelosi operation, the Get Trump operation. She only confessed to this yesterday thanks to a Judicial Watch lawsuit. Of course, when we first sued and began asking for these records, they told us they had no records. Well, it turns out that wasn't true. In fact, the only reason we got the confession yesterday was because a court last week found her in default. She didn't bother to answer the lawsuit under law as she was supposed to. But rather than turn the records over, as the court, I think, strongly suggested, she was using a loophole of exemptions and privileges to hide the records from the American people. Now, we're going to push back hard in court. Our heavy lifting will continue. But in the meantime, this really does confirm, A, she was in collusion with the Pelosi operation to get Trump. B, she has no respect for the rule of law. C, she has no respect for your right to know.
All right, yeah, so that was Judicial Watch on this case, and they're basically saying they're not going to back down. It's taken over 5 requests to get just a little bit of evidence or records that Fani Willis has turned over, which then leads Judicial Watch to believe that there's even more records that are being withheld. I mean, if you had to request them over 5 times for her to even, be willing to send a little bit of records that she sent over, I mean, one is just to believe there is more being withheld behind the scenes, and the judge seems to agree in this whole court case. I'm going to play that clip now so you guys can see the judge's take, his perspective on this whole situation with Fani Willis just blatantly not complying.
I agree with that.
Okay.
So I think you said earlier in your preliminary remarks what our big concern is we don't have any confidence in the universe of documents. I mean, you found in the order awarding attorney's fees that they responded without doing a search and then didn't even do a search until after the complaint was filed. They don't have any records of what they searched. They say they didn't search even the cell phones of the 6 people that they knew were involved in some communication or dialogue or something with the January 6th committee. And then when you ordered them to do, I think what would have amounted to like the 5th search, when they previously said they don't have any records at all, privileged or otherwise, now they say they have some records that are privileged. It's just very difficult to have any confidence. Oh, and they said they didn't know how to use the Cellbrite technology to do kind of forensic searches, even though
That's having to do with
technology, and they presumably use it a lot.
Right.
And
they do with every cell phone that they seize from a murder defendant.
Exactly.
Right.
So that tells me that there might be a technological issue. So we think a special master is going to be required for a couple of reasons. One is the horrible lack of confidence in their searching capabilities or efforts that they're putting into it. And if they turn over the 55 documents to you and you say, yep, those are privileged, fine, we're done. Like you said, there might be 5,500 out there that they should have produced and didn't. And then because of the apparent lack of knowledge, at least with the people that do the searches, of using this technology that they have available to them, a special master might be needed to provide technological support. And the person you appoint as a special master then might have to consult with somebody else on how to do that, but.
Right, probably the latter. Well, I'll cut you short on that. I've never heard Mr. Monroe say there are no such exceptions. I think his concern has been, and he'll correct me, he's good at doing that, is, well, how do we know that? And it's kind of suspicious that you have no documents and then no documents because we didn't search, and then we did search and we have no documents, and then everything except what he gave the DA's office is somehow accepted. But if I'm making it up, but if they are all attorney-client privilege documents, they are all accepted from disclosure. To me, that's not the controversial part. It's developing a comfort level that they don't just now have a red stamp on it that says attorney-client privilege, that if we carbon dated it was affixed 2 weeks ago rather than when that document was generated.
I appreciate that, yes. Appropriate thing to search. I'm troubled by the fact that we're still leaving the DA's office to its own devices on how to do the search, especially with the track record.
Sure. I appreciate that. And it may well be that after I've had a chance to look at the 212 pages and you and I both are able to process what's submitted through the county attorney's office about the specifics of I'm gonna call it the search protocol, things that were done to yield these documents, that a step that I direct is that Mr. Bowman needs to go in there and hit go on the search as well to confirm that that's what comes up. I'm not there yet, but you are not being conspiracy minded in my mind to say it's a little odd that we're suddenly saying, okay, on the fifth go around, they meant it when they said, no, we researched thoroughly this time. So you should continue to be the skeptic and voice that skepticism. I'm trying to help everyone paint the picture of what does this latest effort really look like.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Looks like that whole laying low tactic is not working for the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis in this case, as she still has folks to answer to. And we're seeing that she is at the center of tons of legal trouble. This being one case of many. I know she's at least got one other one where she's got kind of tied up in appeals court, whether or not they're going to allow her to stay on that case, going against her prosecuting President Donald Trump. I wouldn't be surprised to see her getting tossed off that case and removed from her office. But the way that it's coming down right now, what it looks like to me is that this is either a bunch of incompetence or blatant negligence on the part of Fani Willis when it comes to these open records requests. Fani Willis withholding information, withholding all the records that she used to prosecute Donald Trump. I mean, if she was innocent in this case and she did not collude with the Biden Justice Department, she didn't collude with Jack Smith or Nancy Pelosi's J6 committee, it wouldn't be that tough to hand over the records. But Fani Willis once again playing that role of the incompetent, saying that she doesn't know how to access the records to even turn them over. Only time will tell in this situation, but we can see that Judicial Watch, they are steadfast. They're going to move ahead on this one and figuring out and getting to the bottom of Fani Willis's corruption. Only time will tell, like I said, guys, but definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open, and I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.